All right, today we're going to talk about a simple piece of paper that's responsible for moving huge amounts of money every single day. But honestly, most people don't fully get it. I'm talking about the Open Check. It's a really powerful tool for sure, but it comes with this unique set of rules and, yeah, some pretty big risks. So let's break down how this thing actually works.
I mean, think about it. We live in a world of instant transfers, right? Zelle, Venmo, you name it. But what if you need the physical version of that? You need to hand someone something that they can turn into cash, like, immediately. Well, that's the exact problem the Open Check was built to solve. And for this explainer, we're not messing around. We're going straight to the source, decoding these handwritten notes that spell out the core ideas behind this financial tool. We're going to see exactly how it works, what the rules are, and, why those rules matter so much. Okay, so what is an open check at its most basic level? It's actually super simple. You know those two parallel lines that people sometimes draw across a check? An open check is just a check that doesn't have them. And that's the whole key. The absence of those lines means whoever has it can just walk up to a bank counter and get cash for it, right then and there.
Now, as soon as you decide to use an Open Check, you immediately come to a fork on the road. You've got a crucial choice to make. Is it going to be a bearer check or an order check? And trust me, these two paths lead to totally different places when it comes to security and convenience.
The main difference really just boils down to this. A bearer check is payable to whoever is physically holding it, whoever bears it. Get it? An order check, though, is the opposite. It's payable only to the specific person whose name is written on it. So one is all about who's got it, and the other is all about who you are.
Honestly, the best way to think about a bearer check, just treat it like a $20 bill. If you've got it in your hand, you can spend it. It's fast, it's easy. But, and this is a big but, if you lose it, that money is probably gone, just like cash.
So let's look at the specifics. Transferable by mere delivery, that's just a fancy way of saying you can just hand it to someone as payment. That's it. And once the bank pays whoever is holding it, the deal is done. The debt is settled. And here's the key part. The banker doesn't have to check any signatures on the back. They don't have to verify anything. The only thing that matters is who is physically standing there with the check. Now, on the flip side, you've got the order check. And you can think of this one more like a securely addressed package. It's got a specific name on it, a specific recipient, and only that person is supposed to open it. This one is built for security, not necessarily for speed. With an order check, the payee's name is everything. It's not a suggestion, it's a requirement. Without a name, the check is totally invalid. And this forces the banker to basically be a gatekeeper. They have to verify the identity of the person presenting the check. That verification step is the entire point.
Okay, so we've got the basics down. Now, let's get into some of the weirder, more specific rules that pop up with open checks. This is where things start to get really interesting.
Here's a fun one for you. What if you write a check to someone, or something, that isn't even real? Like, could you write a check to Batman, or a mythical god? Does the whole thing just fall apart?
Believe it or not, this scenario actually has a legal name.
It's called a fictitious payee. It's what happens when the name you write after pay to isn't a real person or a real company. And yeah, there are very specific rules for how to handle it.
And this example from our source notes is just perfect. If you write a check to Lord Maruga or Order, it's no good. It's considered irregularly drawn because, well, how is the bank supposed to verify the ID of a deity? But, and this is the cool part, if you make it out to Lord Maruga or Bearer, it suddenly becomes valid. Why? Because that bearer instruction completely overrides the fictitious name. It no longer matters who it's made out to, just who's holding it.
And that brings us to a concept that's so powerful, we're calling it the unbreakable bearer rule. This is based on actual law, Section 85(2) of the Negotiable Instruments Act, and it is a total game changer. So here's the scenario. Let's say you have a bearer check. You feel like it's a bit risky, so you want to make it safer. You flip it over, write pay to Jane Smith only, and you sign it. You've just turned it into a safer order check, right? Wrong. The rule is absolute, and our source notes couldn't be clearer. Once a bearer check, always a bearer check. That's it. That is the core of the unbreakable rule.
So what that means in the real world is that any endorsement you write on the back is, well, it's essentially ignored. It has no legal power. Even if you endorse it to a specific person, the bank will still, and legally must, pay out the cash to anyone who physically shows up with it. You simply cannot change its original character.
So, with all these rules in play, what does this all mean for the person at the very end of the line, the bank teller who has to make the final call to pay or not to pay? Well, the banker's job really boils down to a pretty simple checklist. First, they confirm it's an open check, no crossing lines. Easy. Second, they figure out which path it's on. If it says order, they have to verify the person's identity. If it says bearer, they just pay the holder. The only real exception, if it's a bearer check from a company, a good banker will probably be a little cautious and ask a few questions before just handing over a stack of cash. So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? It's that classic trade-off, isn't it? Convenience versus security. The bearer's check gives you incredible speed, but it has all the risk of carrying cash. The order check gives you rock-solid security, but you sacrifice that speed. Ultimately, your choice just depends on what you care about most in that particular situation. And that leaves us with one final thought. An open check is definitely fast, and it's pretty simple. But now that you know the rules, the risks, and all the weird little quirks, would you actually use one?